Russian President Vladimir Putin and his U.S. counterpart Joe Biden have agreed to a summit to be held only if Moscow does not invade Ukraine, France announced Monday following a frantic new round of diplomacy to avert an all-out war. Both leaders have said yes in principle to the summit, proposed by French President Emmanuel Macron, his office said, with the White House confirming Biden's willingness, though it was notably cautious. A senior administration official told AFP, timing to be determined. Format to be determined, so it's all completely notional. The Elysee added that the summit will be expanded to relevant stakeholders and that preparations would start between Russia and the United States on Thursday. The possible breakthrough came after Washington warned of an imminent invasion and Ukraine and Russia blamed each other for a spike in shellings on the front line separating Kiev's forces from Moscow-backed separatists. The bombardments have sent Ukrainians fleeing to cellars and other shelters, while some civilians have been evacuated. In its own statement, the White House warned that it was still ready to impose swift and severe consequences should Russia invade. And currently, Russia appears to be continuing preparations for a full-scale assault on Ukraine very soon, U.S. Press Secretary Jen Psaki said. Washington and other Western capitals say that Russia has massed more than 150,000 troops on Ukraine's borders and is ready to launch a full-scale assault. Moscow denies any intention to invade its neighbor, but has demanded that the NATO alliance permanently rule out Ukraine's bid for membership and called for the withdrawal of Western forces deployed in Eastern Europe since the end of the Cold War. Macron-Putin calls. The announcement of the summit came moments after Macron held his second marathon call with Putin of the day. During their first 105-minute discussion, Putin blamed the increase in violence on the front line on provocations carried out by the Ukrainian security forces, according to a Kremlin statement. Putin repeated a call for the United States and NATO to take Russian demands for security guarantees seriously. But Macron's office also said the two had agreed on the need to favor a diplomatic solution to the ongoing crisis and to do everything to achieve one. The second time the pair spoke, late Sunday evening, it was for an hour, the French presidency said. The announcement of the summit came shortly after. Earlier, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said Russia remained on the brink of invading Ukraine. U.S. media cited anonymous sources as saying that Washington received intelligence last week showing the Kremlin has given troops the order to attack. The White House, Pentagon and State Department did not confirm the reports when asked by AFP. Satellite images from a U.S. company also showed new Russian troop deployments along the border.
The military added that it was continuing to rebuff and contain the armed aggression without attacking civilians, and accused Russia of directing its allies' attacks. Moscow formally denies being involved in the conflict and calls it a Ukrainian internal affair. But monitors from the OSCE European security body have reported regular shipments of Russian weapons across the border throughout the 8-year war. The OSCE reported a massive 870 ceasefire violations across the conflict zone in its latest report Friday, which referred to incidents the previous days. In recent days, the OSCE Special Monitoring to Ukraine, SMM, has observed a dramatic increase in kinetic activity along the contact line in eastern Ukraine, the OSCE said in a statement. Rebel leaders accuse the Ukrainian armed forces of trying to retake their two separatist regions by force, a claim Kyiv denies. The rebel leaderships in Donetsk and the smaller Lugansk region on Saturday both called the situation critical and announced a general mobilization.